Welcome to the Podcast Managers. In this week's league news, Kenny Golladay looks injured again. Carson Wentz injured again. And the entire Giants team gets in a scrap during practice. But the real news is, the 12 Angry Teams website just went live, and league invitations should be going out later this week. I'd like to thank my guest co-host, Larry Ring, for joining me today. Welcome to the pod, Larry.
It's a pleasure to be here, Daniel. Despite your deficiencies as a man and as a husband, wouldn't have missed it for the world.
My father-in-law, ladies and gentlemen. And, as well as my father-in-law, he's an owner of one of the 12 Angry Teams. Larry, have you come up with a name yet?
I'm toying with Well-Hung Jury, which I think hits a legal innuendo as well as a personal reference.
A generous one. Well, Larry, to give us some background about you and let the people know about your credentials, could you tell us about the fantasy leagues you won last season?
Wins, not playoffs, not making the playoffs.
Oh, you made the playoffs.
No.
Huh. Well, in this week's episode, we're going to introduce you to the league platform, the roster positions, and, most importantly, the prizes for winners. Shall we get to it?
If I was any more enthused about what's coming next, Daniel, I would insert funny joke here.
All right, the league format. 17-week schedule, 14 weeks of regular season, 3 weeks of playoffs. There will be 2 divisions, and the top 3 teams in each division will have a seat in the playoffs. The winner of each division will get a bye week to kick off the playoffs. Now, Larry, I thought about doing 8 playoff teams instead of just 6, but ultimately decided I liked a 3-week playoff where you get a bye week.
Yeah, I like 2 teams.
Just 2 teams in the playoffs.
No, 2 teams in the entire league gives me a great chance to both make the playoffs and have a chance at a championship.
I can see why you'd prefer that. So, prizes. What will the winners get? We're going to do a high score of the week prize, $25 a week. Then, third place overall will get $216. Second place, $316. First place, $867 and your name on a plaque on the permanent trophy, which should be arriving in the next 2 weeks. Larry, a lot of people like to throw in additional prizes, maybe a prize for the team that has the highest overall score on the season. On the other hand, some people think it should mirror life and the entire prize should just go to the one ultimate champion.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
I'm more of a spread the wealth around for victories and stuff. Like there's room on my shelf, for example, for one more participation trophy. So I'm kind of dusting that out.
Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense. Maybe everybody could win. As for the platform, this year we will be using the CBS Fantasy Football platform and accompanying app. Larry, you're on record as saying that CBS is the worst fantasy football platform, except for every other fantasy football platform. Could you tell us what you like and hate about CBS?
I think it looks great. First of all, I was on CBS, the CBS platform, when it began in, I think, the early 1400s. So I used to love it. You could do a fake news article. You could do a fake news video, like a sports video. And it looked like a news article. It looked like a news video. Then they decided to make everything chat. Like, everything is chat-driven now. Everything is from a chat, from a league, from a team owner. They've sucked the fantasy out of fantasy football. Having said that, it's the best one, still.
A ringing endorsement for CBS Fantasy Football. Now, roster positions. This league will have 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 defense/special teams, and a kicker. In addition, there will be 2 flex positions, running back, wide receiver, or tight end. There will also be 6 bench spots, no injured reserve spot. I don't believe in them. Kickers and defenses are controversial. These days, a lot of fantasy leagues are doing away with the kickers and the defenses. I like including kickers because it rounds out the team, and a good kicker is crucial to securing a close victory. Defense, I like because it makes me feel like a real general manager. Now, Larry, you proposed incorporating individual defensive players, like defensive ends and linebackers.
I do, yeah. I think the more decisions a team owner makes, the more opportunities there are to make fun of that team owner for making bad decisions.
And you don't foresee that potentially backfiring?
Oh, no, it's going to backfire.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
As long as we're on the same page. Well, before we wrap up here, let's get to a few questions from our regular viewers. First, from Emerson Biggins of Arkansas. What is an appropriate yearly budget for fantasy football? And should I join a 9th league? Larry, what do you think?
I believe that budgets, they're getting higher every year. And I am waiting for the day when a $1,000 buy-in is a matter of routine.
We can all just hope that day is coming fast. Michael Hawk of Truth and Consequences, New Mexico asks, what team are you most excited for this year?
Football team?
Yeah, NFL team.
I don't really watch a lot of football. But here's what I'd say to Mike Hawk. Go with your gut. Go with your gut. You never go wrong if you go with the gut.
Not every day you can get that sort of advice for free. Tom B. of Tampa asks, is a player being injury prone a real thing? Larry?
Was there a question?
Yeah. Is a player being injury prone a real thing?
That's a good question, and it's not an easy question to answer. And, I'm not one to dodge difficult questions, so I think my answer is we need more time to study on that, and I'll get back to you about mid-season.
Larry Bing from Arkansas City, Kansas asks, when will we be replacing Daniel as host of the pod? I like Larry. Do you know this Larry Bing, gentlemen?
No, never heard the name, no.
Oh, really? You didn't write that?
No.
Well, thanks for listening, managers. Join us again next week, where my co-host will be Callie, so that we can introduce you together to the other managers in the league. Seymour Butts from Chicago, right? It's too tacky. What team are you most excited for this year?
Other than well-hung jury, you mean?
Correct. Real NFL team.
I don't really watch a lot of football. You can't laugh at that.